Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 36 of Pelo Buddy TV. I'm Amanda Siegel, and while John is off partying with his lovely wife Jackie in Mexico, today I am joined by a very special guest co-host. Really excited to introduce German community member JANINA Wiggins, better known to most of us as Fittish Gambino. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Glad to be here.
So glad that we were able to bring you in. We have tons of German news, so we thought how appropriate with John being on holiday, how dare he, but to bring a fresh new face. And I'm really, really thrilled. It's amazing to be able to put a face to a name. Certainly have seen your name a lot out there. And it's really, really fabulous to have you on the show, JANINA. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm probably like a super fan of German ladies, and I've been living here in Germany for a little over a year. We moved right before the pandemic started, so we also got our Peloton bike right before that started, so thank goodness for that, because it's been my saving grace.
Yeah, so you're originally American, correct?
Yes.
Where did you come from?
Well, I'm American and German. My mom's
Okay.
German. And yeah, I grew up in El Paso, Texas, and went to college in New Mexico and worked in New Mexico. And recently we decided to move to Germany so I could get my German speaking skills back up.
Good for you. I mean, that had to have been quite an adventure. You have two little ones, correct?
Yeah, my husband's actually the one who's really a big fan of Germany and wanted to come and live here. So we got an opportunity and took it. So it's a good time.
That is fantastic. That's absolutely amazing, JANINA. Yeah, so you got entrenched in the German community. Certainly from a Peloton perspective, it's been amazing to see how close the German community really has been. So you found them kind of on the Facebook page, or how did the two kind of come into each other?
Well, the founder, Jules, I followed her on Instagram, and when she started German Ladies, she asked me if I wanted to invite, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course. So I was there from the beginning, and I got to watch us go from like 25 women to currently 1,600. So wow, it's really exciting.
That is fantastic. That's absolutely amazing. Well, amazing. And certainly we're thrilled to have you as our guest host today on the show, where you can share some of the German news. And there's lots of it this week, interestingly enough. So the timing was perfect. So folks, before we get on with the news, we always like to remind you of how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode, as well as breaking news items, is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand side of this video and hit the notify button to make sure you never miss an episode. Folks, if you do prefer to listen to us whilst on the move, we have our podcast, and we're pretty much on all the podcast platforms. Again, just search for Pelo Buddy TV and hit subscribe. And finally, Facebook and Instagram. Again, just search for Pelo Buddy, follow us on all of those platforms with all of the latest news. So one of the things we've been asking JANINA was for folks to share just their thoughts about the show. We've We've put quite a lot of effort into fixing our sound. We had some sound issues a few weeks ago. And, we've really encouraged folks to share what they like, what they dislike about the show. And I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn. And certainly John's. I'm hoping that he gets to watch this as well. But we did get a wonderful review. And the latest review did come from a gentleman by the name of David W. Glitter Strategy, I believe, is his leaderboard name. And this is what David said. Brilliant podcast of all the most up-to-date info on what's going on in the Peloverse. The hosts are so great, thank you, and share their enthusiasm of Peloton with their listeners and watchers. Every time I tune in, I end up getting straight on the bike afterwards to find some of the great rides they have listed. Love the Pick of the Week feature, and the community interviews are some of my favorite. Keep up the great work, guys. David W. So David, thank you so much for taking the time to share your review. There have been quite a few this week. We just picked that one to highlight on the show. But please, you guys, if you're listening, watching, and you like what you see or have some suggestions, either go to YouTube and tell us there, or on one of the podcast platforms and write a review. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
Well, folks, this week we start off our news with the much talked about CPSC report that came out last Saturday. As most of you have heard by now, and of course we reported on the show a few weeks ago, our Peloton family was really shaken by the news of a small child losing their life due to an unimaginable accident with the Peloton Tread Plus. We did share that an email that Peloton CEO John Foley had sent out to the Tread community. And of course, our hearts break for the family that have endured the pain of losing their child. As a parent myself, I can't even begin to imagine, especially on a piece of equipment that one, absolutely adores and loves. What we saw come out this past weekend, so last Saturday, CPSC, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, issued a warning and news bulletin on their website for members to stop using the Tread Plus. It was a pretty strong vocal that they put out there. In the warning, they did acknowledge that they have received 39 incidents to date relating to accidents with the Tread Plus. Of course, the Peloton head, those folks up at the top, immediately responded, stating that the press release was inaccurate and misleading, and reiterating the safety warnings and instructions. John Foley did send out an updated letter that Peloton had no plans to recall the Tread Plus, and that they were working diligently on creating a backup access code to be added. Foley did go on to say that Peloton had initiated a report to the CPSC and had been cooperating with them. He stated that they had withheld identifying some members that had been involved based on the members' requests. And that was due to wanting to protect their own privacy. The members did not want their names to be out there. People can be quite harsh and quite nasty, as we've seen, and they were just trying to protect themselves. On Tuesday, though, we did see the first class action lawsuit being filed with the U.S. District Court of Northern California. The case is named Shannon Albright versus Peloton Interactive. And it is the first that we are seeing. We don't know whether there will be more that will come in the future. But lastly, we saw the removal of the Peloton Tread Plus from Consumer Reports ratings, and it is no longer a recommended device. Consumer Reports posted an article detailing their decision to remove the Tread Plus from their treadmill ratings page. Their reasoning: the recent urgent safety warning that had been issued. Of course, if someone in the Peloton Tread community, this is all very upsetting, and also, I guess, somewhat frustrating, in kind of making and feeling and getting an understanding, of it all. Again, just from a personal perspective, I can't even begin to imagine. It's got to be devastating, and for the parents and families that have been involved, it is something that we all feel for those folks, and are saddened by it. But there does come with, what John Foley had said and what the warnings, what the warnings have said, in that, make sure you know where the safety key is and take it out of the tread after you've used it. Make sure you put it away, and that there aren't, small kids or folks that shouldn't be allowed on the treadmill aren't having access to it. Make sure that you are familiar with the surroundings, and when you get on your tread, yes, we understand that we want it to be a community where we include the family, and I know that in one of the pictures we had seen embedded, it was either in the CSPC report, I do believe it was in there was a picture of a mom and her kid doing floor exercises together, utilizing the screen on the treadmill, which absolutely, there's no reason if the parent is in the room and being able to kind of manage what's going on, for you to be able to use it. But when you have walked away from that treadmill, ensure that, little kids can't access it, and being able to turn it on. So, yeah, Janina, it certainly is something that, as a parent, you have little ones yourself. I don't believe the Tread Plus is in Germany yet, correct? There's no Tread in Germany yet.
Not yet. It's coming. Yeah.
So, as a parent, we know that this is something that has certainly affected all of us, and we're certainly saddened by it. But it's a big deal for Peloton, and we hope that it can all be resolved in an appropriate way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of that aspect of what we wanted to share with you folks listening and watching, and just to kind of process it all and recognize that we're still, huge Peloton fans, and we want to see this all being resolved appropriately, and hopefully we can find alternatives around making sure that the tread continues to be a wonderful piece of equipment to use from an exercise perspective. And having just been on it this past week, I would be devastated if I knew that I couldn't use it. But I am very careful when I turn it on, and I don't have little kids. But I do have a dog, and I ensure that the door's closed, that when I'm working out, she can't come into the room. So yeah, just some food for thought there. So Janina, I'm going to turn it over to you, switching gears a little bit. There's lots for you to share in the yoga world, so go ahead and fill us in.
So this past week, Peloton did announce that yoga was going global with the announcement of 3 new coaches, which is super exciting. Mariana Fernández is one of them. She just did her premiere yoga class this past Friday, and she's the first Spanish-speaking instructor on the platform, which is really cool. And I took her class. It was really nice. I recommend it. Nico Sarani is going to be the first German-speaking yoga instructor. I know the German community is super excited because they've been asking and waiting, and now we finally have a yoga instructor. And then Kirra Michel, she's from Australia. So that is kind of the whole global yoga community thing that we're doing. It's really exciting. And they went live actually this past week too, introducing the new instructors. They're all going to be based out of the New York studio. Even Nico Sarani, so we don't have to worry about in Germany not being able to do her classes because she can't get to the UK studio.
Yeah.
So they also announced that there would be a new collections bundle with 5 new yoga areas of focus, and there'll be some badges involved. So
And you know we love our badges, right? Any opportunity to get a badge. Yeah. And I understood, Janina, correct me, I believe that the reason for the closing of the New York Yoga Studio for the last 3 weeks was because they got a revamp. That's what you're hearing too?
Yeah, they got a makeover at the New York studio, so they're all pretty excited about that. And it looks nice from the class that I took with Mariana. It looks really, really nice.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know that I have never been a yogi. It was something that just I'm not a very flexible person. I've never been a yogi, and but I did start over the last few months doing a ton of meditation. I'm really incorporating it into my daily regime, whether it be before I start a workout in the morning, just to kind of get me going, and pretty much every night I'll do a sleep meditation before I go to sleep. And I've really, really enjoyed getting to work with the instructors on that platform. So I did jump on the live. Ross Rayburn had done the live back this past week and got to see the 3 instructors. And it was actually kind of cool, as you said, and fun to see the 3 differences in them. Kirra having the Australian accent, and that was really cool. Then, of course, Mariana with the Spanish, and she is just so bubbly and so lovely. Yeah. And I think what was really cool about it is that she was a community member. So she was actually somebody that had been on the platform, had been working out, and it was amazing to see her enthusiasm now come out as an instructor, because she's really the first one that they focused that was actually a community member who then became an instructor. So there's hope for all of us, Janina. My friends always tease me and say, Amanda, when are you going to become? I said, oh God, no, I don't think they're not rushing for me. But it was fun to see, and it did kind of put a nice sparkle to her being so enthusiastic about that. And then of course Nico adding the German flair. Of course her English is impeccable. She's completely bilingual, so it's amazing to see. And she had actually said that it was New York where she had first discovered yoga, and when she was studying at NYU was where she started. She was looking for a platform to just kind of get grounded, and as she was studying, and yoga was what she had found. So I thought that was a fabulous compilation of the 3 of them and them sharing their life and their stories. So guys, if you haven't had a chance to see that, definitely head over to the Peloton page on Facebook, because I do believe that they posted the live on there, and it was just about 20 minutes, but it was definitely worth watching. So that was really fun to see. So I think for you folks in Germany, it is going to be wonderful to be able to add that into your workout regime. And I'm sure that Nico will add meditation as well as yoga, I'm sure, to the platform, because the 2 really do go hand in hand. And it's something that I'm looking forward to potentially starting in getting into yoga. So that is definitely, I was thinking Pilates, but I don't know, maybe I'll try yoga. So you'll have to encourage me. You'll have to get on there and say, hey, Amanda, are you on? Are you doing anything yet? But that'll be fun.
If you can do Pilates, you'll be able to do yoga.
So. Exactly. So with Mariana being on the platform, tell us, I understand that Spanish is now on there too?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So she's the first Spanish-speaking person on the platform. So hopefully there'll be more things coming in that language soon. I know I'm really excited about it. Spanish is my third language that I'm trying to keep up, which is hard in Germany. So it's not a lot of Spanish-speaking people here. So I'm really thrilled about her being on the platform. But yeah, it's also great, especially for the meditations, for people that speak English and Spanish, but their first language is Spanish or German. Even though they do English great, sometimes you have to register that like in your mind. So for the meditation portion especially, it's nice that they offer this so you don't have to think about translating into English and meditating at the same time. So definitely a nice opportunity for the meditation people out there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I understood that the first Spanish-speaking class was launched just this past Friday, if I'm not mistaken, correct? And I guess it was Mariana's, it was her yoga class, is that correct?
Yes, she did her premiere yoga class. She started off playing Selena, so that was awesome. And it was a great playlist. She's, like you said, she's very bubbly and enthusiastic, and she brings that to the mat too. I had a really good time. I also sweat a lot during her class because it's a little challenging, but it was really awesome. And I'm just amazed at how Peloton finds like all these amazing, like inspiring, great people to bring on as instructors. So.
Isn't that the truth? It is amazing. They have it's such a diverse group of instructors. You know,
Absolutely.
They all bring something different, and yet they all have this, you can just see that they are part of a family. It was amazing to watch the live and just to see. And certainly in these crazy times where they probably haven't had tons of opportunity to really meet one another and see each other face to face. I know that they had mentioned that on the live. So it's got to be hard for the new folks coming in, the new instructors coming in who haven't had that opportunity, and yet they still are made to feel so welcome. Which is really great. Yeah. So what we also saw on Friday being announced was that Peloton are actually going to be offering a Mother's Day promotion. For us here in the US and Canada, Mother's Day is just a couple weeks away, so the weekend after homecoming. And they have a new promotion that they are offering for new members. So folks that are looking to purchase the bike, and it's the original bike, they'll be able to actually get a discount on accessories. So the discount will be $150 for US folks and $200 for those folks in Canada. And it will pertain just to accessories. So you can't use it for the bike purchase or for apparel, but if you wanted to go ahead and get the weights or the shoes or something that pertains to the bike, you'd be able to use that extra $150. So that was really cool to see. Peloton has also announced this past week that their upcoming quarterly earnings date will be May 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll certainly watch out for that report, and of course we will share all the findings here on the show post the earnings call. And they've certainly struggled. I mean, I think just from a financial perspective, as far as certainly as the stock goes, and being someone that owns a lot of the stock, it's been interesting to see it fluctuate over the last week or so. But they'll certainly talk about, hopefully, you know, the supply and chain that they've had to work so hard on and getting product back out to people and folks that having had to wait. So we'll hear about that. We'll hear about where they're going. So it's always a fun call to jump on and be able to hear what's up next for Peloton. And with homecoming less than a week away, we did see some members share that they have received a homecoming gift package. And I say that with a little stern voice, not salty or anything, but there's been nothing in my mailbox this past week.
Same.
Same for you, So what we're seeing, and I'm just a little jealous, there are a couple different things that have been rolled out. So there's a hype kit that included a chalkboard, a homecoming banner, and some stickers. Others have shared that they received the Unwind kit, and I know that our own Jules got one. She posted that on social media. Lucky girl.
Yes, very nice.
And that included a beautiful homecoming mug, lemongrass tea, and a gel eye mask. So I guess they're expecting us to need to kind of zen out after the weekend because we're going to be so busy that weekend with everything to do about Peloton, right? It's also actually been reported that some members got handwritten notes from the instructors. Did you hear about that?
I heard about it.
Cool. Again, I'm stalking the mailbox. I know Leanne Hainsby sent me something. It's got to be there. I'm just waiting for it. But that I think is really cool and good for them for making, different folks feel special in different ways. Lastly, we saw folks getting emails, and that was distributed last week. That, Janina, I have to share, I was lucky enough to get. And of course, when I saw Hi Amanda, I immediately assumed that I was the only person that got it, only to find out, an hour or so later that there were a couple of them that had been distributed. But they were really cool. And mine did say, and I'll go ahead and read it real quick, but we hope you're getting excited for Homecoming 2021. Yes, I am, very. We're reaching out to thank you for being a valued member of the Peloton community and to recognize everything you've accomplished recently. You're among the top members to earn the most achievements this year, from badges and streaks to completing challenges. We are so inspired by the energy that you bring to the leaderboard and can't wait to see what other milestones you'll unlock. We look forward to celebrating your incredible achievements alongside the rest of the community during Homecoming. So I was the only person that got that, right? I mean, it was like a personal email to me, right? Did you get one, Janina?
I did not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I guess because you're a newbie, maybe we'll have to chalk it up to that. Maybe there's still something coming. But there were actually some others. There were some others that had been acknowledged for the amount of time that they had spent on the platform. And I do follow the minutes. I don't know if you follow other folks and if you put in that challenge for the minutes. I'm almost at 8,000 minutes, and I thought that I was a complete superstar. I mean, 8,000 minutes in 4 months is phenomenal. Oh my Lord, there are people on there. As you know, they increased it from 10,000 at the end of last year to add 15,000. There are a couple girls that I follow who are at 20,000 minutes already. To me, it just blows my mind away that there are people that are spending that. And I thought that, I get crap from my family all the time, is that you are constantly on the bike, Mom, or the tread. And, is your whole world Peloton? Yes, it is. But isn't that insane? That there are folks, and I know our very own, we have some of our past folks that we interviewed on the show, Texas Yes or Yes, and Maggie is at 20,000 minutes. So it just blows me away. And then, of course, there was also the email that went out for all those high-fivers. And our very own John Pruitt is, as we know, is the high-fiver extraordinaire. I know another community member, Freddie Graham, who's very involved in Ben's Peloton's army, that he too is a huge high-fiver. And I love getting on the leaderboard with him because I know I'm going to get so much on there. But is that crazy? That's crazy. So had you heard from friends? Had they gotten some of the things?
Oh yeah. We've had a bunch of people in the German ladies community get the emails and the hype packages. I'm not sure if I saw any of the mugs yet. Jules lives in the UK, so
right. Yeah. She did get it. Yes, I haven't actually heard, and I could be stood to be corrected if Americans have gotten the packages yet. I've only personally seen UK and German folks get it. But control room can tell me if there are Americans that have gotten it yet. But yes, Americans have gotten it. I'm just not one of those Americans. But I'm not salty. But I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to jump on next weekend? Have you kind of blocked yourself off for time to spend for the weekend?
Yeah, I'm just ready for it all. There's a lot going on.
There is. There's some fun interviews. We spoke about it last week on the show. So there are going to be some fun interviews. And then, of course, there's tons on the platform as far as the live classes go. So the schedule is jam-packed. And I know that we'll have it up on the Pelo Buddy website. So, folks, if you want to go, obviously your app will tell you exactly what's on there. But schedule yourself in. There's tons and tons of amazing classes that are going to be held across all of the platforms. From cycling to tread to yoga to everything. Everything's going to be on there. And then some Peloton studio news for this week. Jess Sims unfortunately had to cut out of class after just getting back in. So Jess had taken some time off to listen to her body, which I think is amazing, that she recognized that she needed some time off. Again, we're not 100% sure of whether it was an injury or what the reasoning was, but she had taken some time off. And unfortunately, she jumped on this past week and did a boot camp and had to cut out with about 15 minutes or so at the end of the class. I am in Jess's group, and there was tons of chatter. One of the admins in that group is actually one of her good friends, and she said that she was fine, but again, she just needed to listen to her body. We did see her back on, though, on Friday. So on Friday, she did come back on and was appreciative to, again, have the support from the community, was very, very teary and saying how she was just so thankful to the community for the unbelievable support that everybody showed towards her. So at least we know that she is okay, and we are looking forward to getting her back on a more regular basis. Yeah, and then we saw the RuPaul Drag Race classes drop this past week. I didn't have a chance to jump on Cody's ride, but I know that Cody had a ride and Maddie had a run. Were you able to get on those, Janina?
I didn't, but I definitely bookmarked them so I can get to take them.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely bookmarked it too. So that's something for the schedule for this coming week for me for sure. Maybe tomorrow I'll jump on and do that. Cody also had a live DJ ride for the first in a year. So that was something fun to jump onto as well. And then the Versus Round 2 was dropped last weekend. It was Timberland and Swiss Beats. And I did do the SELENA strength. And oh my goodness, while I love the music, it was the hardest strength class I have done. I won't give much more because I will talk about it in Picks of the Week. But Versus Round 2 dropped. I didn't get to do any of the other mediums. Again, I'm going to put you on the spot there, Janina. Did you get to do any of them?
I have not, but my husband already took Jess King's ride a few times, so
oh, really?
He really loved the playlist, and he obviously loves the ride, so I'll have to catch up to him.
Yeah, so maybe I will do that ride. I love Timberland. I'm not a huge Swiss Beats fan, but I do love Timberland. So yeah, that should be fun. And you have some artist series information to tell us about.
Yes, this past week, ERIK Jaeger did a German artist ride with Herbert Grönemeyer. And that's a pretty big deal in our community because pretty much if you're my age or younger or even older, everybody's heard of him in their household at some point living in Germany. So it was an awesome ride, very emotional. A lot of tears were shed by a lot of community members. It was just very sweet. ERIK did an awesome job. And the music was just great. All in German, but it can be appreciated by all.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow. I mean, I didn't know who it was, but it's not. And again, it's nice to see that they're bringing folks, from the German community onto the platform to highlight them. So we've always said that, especially in times like now, where you're not getting to go to concerts and getting to see these folks, perform live, we kind of feel in our own little concert when we're on the bike or the tread or on the platform. So it is really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And then tell us about One Team Challenge. That also was being launched.
The One Team Challenge is happening. ERIK got on live this past Friday with Mila, actually, and talked a little bit about the program and what's going to happen. It's going to be a program taking place over 4 weeks. With different components in it. The first week will be cardio, HIIT cardio. The second week will be strength. Third week, yoga. And the fourth week, stretching. So you get to try a whole bunch of different aspects in there. And he'll be putting together curated workouts that you can take, or you can also do your own thing. There's badges involved. You get a badge actually after each week of completion. And he did mention in his live that he visited some Peloton members in the German community. So we're looking forward to seeing who that might be.
I guess we are. That's very exciting. How cool to get a knock on one's door and see your instructor, your hero, standing in front of you. I can't even imagine. So hopefully we'll have some wonderful news and be able to share it here on the show in the upcoming weeks. That's awesome. Good stuff. So yeah, we saw the Mother's Day apparel drop. We spoke about it last week that it was coming, and the Mother's Day, because you guys had gotten it, I guess, back a couple of weeks ago when you guys celebrated Mother's Day. But here in the States and Canada, we celebrate it, as I said, in a couple of weeks, the weekend after homecoming. So that was kind of nice. And yeah, I have to say, I did jump on and get a couple things, because why not? I mean, who else do you sleep with other than Peloton? So you got to have the pajamas. And there was no question I was getting the pajamas. So that's fun. I'm looking forward to that coming. And then lastly, folks, some instructors in the news. Tunde was featured this past week in an article, and I'm going to have to pull it up because I don't have it in front of me. Give me 1 second here. She was in an article in Well and Good, and the title of the article was, "As a Black woman, shaving my head has made me feel more exposed and more liberated than ever before." So she goes on to talk about her decision to shave her head and how she is embracing it. It was something she had always wanted to do as a young girl, wanted short hair, and certainly how amazing she's felt since she's done it. So no regrets, it seems like. And then Ali Love was featured yet again. Ali has certainly been in tons of news. Ali Love was featured in Shondaland, I believe it was. And Ali talks about her journey to progress over perfection. And I love that. It was something that I've been hearing folks talk about a lot lately in progress to perfection, and that we're looking at progressing and not always looking at perfecting. So Ali was featured in that. So those were our two instructors in the news this past week. And believe it or not, that pretty much wraps up the news for this week. I think this is the shortest news we've ever had here on Pelo Buddy TV. So I am going to put you on the spot, Janina, and I am going to ask you, because you know what the community members, sorry about that, folks, the community members really do like to hear about what we like to see on the leaderboard. So go ahead, Janina, I'm going to have you start and tell us about what your picks of the week are.
Okay, so my first pick is actually Mariana Fernández's premiere yoga. It was just so awesome. Even if you don't speak Spanish, you can follow along close enough. You can feel her energy. It's just amazing. Just learn what izquierda and derecha are, and you'll be good to go. That's left and right. But it was really, really special. And you could just, like I said, feel that energy through. So, and then my other one is ERIK's Herbert Grönemeyer ride. I just encourage everyone to branch out and try something different. I mean, it's all good vibes. You can follow along pretty easy, even if you don't speak the language. And it was just a nice ride. It was like going to a concert, like you said, and holding up your little lighter.
Lighter. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, good for you. Awesome. Yeah, so Janina, I'm going to go off with my picks of the week, and I actually have a few picks this week. I will start off. My first pick is something you guys have never heard me speak about, and it is actually a strength workout. So I jumped on, oh my goodness, Selena's 30-minute versus strength class from the 21st. And one of my Pelo buddies, one of the girls I work out with, had said to me, "Come on, Amanda, let's do it." It was a live class. We had just finished a hectic stack on the bike. And I said, sure, why not? Oh my Lord. I literally could not move my body for 2 days after. But it was amazing. It was amazing. Selena has so much energy and so much enthusiasm in her classes. And the strength class was truly fantastic because it did give us a great overview of a full body. So we went from arms to legs to core to everything. So I truly recommend folks to get that one in for sure. And then on Friday, so what I've been doing on Friday, folks, is I've actually been hitting the tread, something that I was not doing before, but decided that I did want to kind of mix up my workouts. So have included tread workouts. And I'm glad that I have, because what I did this past week was I jumped on Jess Sims' 20-minute pop walk. It was fantastic, and it was lovely to see her back on the, on the tread. It was, great to see her giving her all. So her 20-minute pop walk, and it was from, again, the 22nd. So it was just from Thursday, the 22nd. So that I am absolutely giving a shout out to. And then lastly, it just wouldn't be right if I didn't include this in my pick of the week. But truthfully, it was the most amazing ride, one of the most amazing rides that I have done. And that was Leanne Hainsby's Thursday's jazz ride. It was a 30-minute jazz ride that she did. And I'll be honest with you, Janina, when I first saw jazz, I was like, I'm not a huge jazz fan. But it was Leanne. And when Leanne does a live ride, Amanda clips in. And I did. And I have to tell you, folks, it was absolutely incredible. Now, questionably, would you find those specific songs she used in the jazz ride in a jazz section of a record store? Not sure. I don't know if you would, but I will tell you, and I'm going to throw out the playlist to you. I mean, it started, with Frank Sinatra, Fly Me to the Moon. I mean, if that just doesn't give you that feel-good feeling, to then go on to play Street Life by the Crusaders. She did the Nils version of Careless Whisper, so the beautiful jazz music of Careless Whisper, to Gregory Porter's Liquid Spirit, Louis Armstrong's Mac the Knife, Earth, Wind and Fire, and Kenny G's The Way You Move. Michael Bublé, of course, he had to be in there with Moon Dance, and then New York, New York. And she said it was so cute. She said it just gave so many memories to her because she used to listen to it, on repeat when she was training in the city back when she first started with Peloton. And you know something, Janina, she just. It's no secret that I adore her. I love working out for her, and she is what's kept me completely motivated on the bike consistently, no question. But just to see her curate these rides that she's been doing lately with the most incredible music has been truly amazing. So hats off. I mean, I even made a post about it on my Instagram page because I was so blown away by how it did move me, and it was hard. I mean, I hit over 300 on a 30-minute, which for me was great. It wasn't quite a personal best, but it's kind of, that's my target. I like to get over 300, and I did it. So I really do recommend it, folks. I thought it was amazing. So yeah, let us know if you guys jump on any of Janina or myself's picks and what you thought of them and whether you agree or not, because we'd love to obviously to hear that from you. So I think, Janina, that pretty much wraps it all up. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for jumping in and being a part of the show this week. We were really excited to have you, and it's, as I said, it's so lovely to be able to put a face to a name. And who knows? Hopefully, we'll get you on for some more German news stories down the road. If you'd be willing to come back on.
Sure.
Fantastic. Well, folks, again, thanks so much for taking the time to stop what you're doing and get to listen and hear what's going on in Peloton world. We have an exciting week next week. We have not decided yet whether we are going to do a show or not. We will keep you guys posted, whether it may just be something live we do right after John Foley's keynote speech that he's going to give to us, or not. We'll see kind of what the week brings, but we'll definitely keep you informed as to whether or not there will be a show next week, because I know that we will be very busy working out with all day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So looking forward to hearing all the homecoming stories from you guys once you've done the rides and runs and workouts on the platform. So please feel free to share those with us. And I guess from me here in Maryland, bye for now, folks.
And I will see everybody on the leaderboard as well. Signing off. Auf Wiedersehen.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.